So I'm going to be simplifying this rational expression here. So there's a lot going on. So the first thing I'm going to do is ignore this negative first power here and simplify what's inside here. So I'm going to start with the numerator, and everything in the numerator is being squared. So you have to square the 3, the x to the negative third, and the y to the fourth. Same thing in the denominator. Everything is being raised to the negative second power, so you have to raise all 3 parts to the negative second power. So let's start with the numerator. So 3 to the second power is 3 times 3, so that would be 9. X to the negative third raised to the second power is using this rule that says if you have a power raised to a power, you multiply the exponents. So negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. And then I have y to the fourth raised to the second, same rule, multiply the exponents, so 4 times 2 is 8. Now let's take a look at this denominator. So if I have 3 to the negative second power, I'm just going to leave it as 3 to the negative second. And now I have x to the fifth raised to the negative second, multiply the exponents. 5 times negative 2 is negative 10. And then I have y to the first raised to the negative second. So you're just doing 1 times negative 2, which is negative 2. I do know that this all has to be raised to the negative first power, right? I kind of ignored that negative first power, but I'm going to bring that down now. And I'm going to do exactly what I just did. I'm going to take this negative first and apply it to all the parts in the numerator and all the parts in the denominator. So 9 to the negative first, I'm just going to leave that as 9 to the negative first. X to the negative 6 raised to the negative first, multiply the exponents. That would be x to the positive 6 power. And then y to the 8th raised to the negative first, multiply, you get y to the negative 8. My denominator, you're applying this negative first to all 3 parts again. So if I have 3 to the negative first raised to the 3 to the negative second raised to the negative first, multiply the exponents, negative 2 times negative 1 is positive 2, so it's 3 squared. Now I'm taking x to the negative 10th and raising it to the negative first, multiply the exponents, negative 10 times negative 1 is positive 10. And lastly, y to the negative second raised to the negative first, multiply your exponents. So negative 2 times negative 1 is positive 2. So from here, I'm going to look for any negative exponents. Whenever I find a negative exponent, I know that if it's in the numerator, it's going to move to the denominator. So these 2 terms will move to the denominator, and that's all of my negative exponents. So let's rewrite what I have left up top. I have x to the 6th. In my denominator, I have 3 squared, x to the 10th, y squared. And now I'm going to bring down 9 to the negative first, which becomes 9 to the first power. And I'm bringing down y to the negative 8th, which becomes y to the 8th power. So let's continue on here. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to square 3 and multiply that by 9 to the first power, which is just 9. So 3 squared is 9, and 9 times 9 is 81. So I know my denominator has an 81 here, and then I have x to the 10th, y squared, y to the 8th. The next thing I'm going to do is combine my base y's. They're being multiplied together, so I'm using this rule that says add the exponents. So 2 plus 8 more would be a total of 10. So I have x to the 6th all over 81, x to the 10th, y to the 10th. One last thing to combine, base x. Notice that you're dividing them, so you're using this rule which says they have the same base, and you're dividing, you subtract the exponents. So 6 minus 10 is going to be a negative again, negative 4. So this gives me x to the negative 4th all over 81 y to the 10th. And to take care of that negative 4th, I'm just going to bring it to the denominator. So my final answer, if nothing is left in the denominator, there's going to be a 1 there because it's really 1 over 81. So 1 over 81 x to the 4th y to the 10th will be my final answer.